We're back. Welcome back to Outwit, Outclay, Outcast, where we'll be digging even further into the 41st season of Survivor, just one day before the season premiere, and I'm very excited. And a big question I've always had is there a way to statistically figure out who will succeed and ultimately win the game of Survivor? And the answer? Probably not. But I've done my best to figure out who has the best chance to win the 41st season by breaking down the game into a game of odds. And keep in mind that most of this is based purely on my predictions, as nobody truly knows how these castaways will play. The first step is figuring out who will make it to the swap. And with 18 players, the swap will occur with either 14 or 15 players left in the game. So I came up with what I believe to be a couple of the most likely alliances within each of the three tribes. Then I came up with a percentage of winning a challenge based on who is on each tribe. So obviously, the tribe that has the highest chance of losing a challenge will go to tribal council more often, leading to the tribe's members having a higher chance of being voted out pre swap. And keep in mind that on average, 79% of all players should make it to the swap. And looking at the yellow tribe first, you can see that Xander has the highest chance to survive to this point, largely because of his athletic abilities. Also seems like Liana will likely be the first boot of this tribe. And since the yellow tribe has the lowest chance to win a challenge of the three tribes, Liana actually has the highest chance out of anybody in the game to be the first boot. Now looking at the green tribe, they have a few people that have virtually 0% chance of going home pre-swap based on how well I believe they will do in the challenges. And I really don't believe that Chantel will fare very well if they do end up going to tribal council though. And then lastly, the blue tribe. And they have quite a few people also that don't have much chance of going home pre-swap, but Heather is definitely the most likely to be the first one gone from that tribe and to go pre-swap, in my opinion. And next, we'll look at each player's chances of reaching the merge. And a player's chances of surviving between the swap and the merge was definitely the hardest thing to factor, because there's almost infinite possibilities of what could happen with tribe numbers in a swap, especially if they swap to 3 tribes with 15 players remaining. So for this portion, I simply gave everyone an equal chance of surviving to the merge, given that they had made it to the swap. And a castaway should make the merge just over 64% of the time when the game starts with 18 people. So as you can see, the green tribe has a good chance of taking numbers into the merge, which isn't necessarily a good thing since there are 3 tribes, so the other 2 tribes could easily join forces to take out the green tribe if they do in fact have the most members remaining come merge time. Next up, we look at each player's chances of making it to the final tribal council, given that they did make it to the merge. And to do this, I put every Survivor contestant that has ever made the merge into a category based on how they play the game. So, for example, there are players that are cast as pure athletes, others that are aggressive strategists, David Voci, or there's others that are cast as the motherly role. And then after this, I figured out the probability that a person from these categories would make it to the final tribal council. And of these categories of players, the aggressive strategist type of player makes it to the finals by far the most. These are the Dominics, Russells, and War Dogs of the world. And that's Russell Hands, definitely not Russell Swan, if you were wondering. So even though Voci doesn't seem as high of a chance of making it to the merge as a lot of the other people, he has a solid shot to make it to the finals. So, for perspective, a player should make it to the finals about 16.7% of the time. And then there's the flirts of Survivor, who also make it to the end at a very high rate if they make it to the merge. These are the Parvati's, Jenna Maraska, Amanda, and then we see the motherly role, which actually makes it to the finals over a third of the time if they make it to the merge. However, they don't win at a very high rate once they get to the finals, but it can be done. Lastly, we look at the one thing that really matters, which is each player's total chances of winning the game. To do this, I took their chances of making it to the finals times their chances of winning if they did make it to the finals. And in order to determine if they would win if they made it to the finals, I came up with my predictions of which other players a contestant could be in the finals. So each castaway has 136 different combinations of players they could be sitting next to in the final three. So if I thought a player could be every other contestant, then they would win 136 of the 136 times, giving them a 100% win rate. Similarly, if a player had the eighth best chance to win at the end, they would win 45 of the 136 times for a 33% win rate. And actually, the average win rate should be 33% because it's one of every three. And after totaling everything up, here's every player's total chances of winning the game. So on the right side of the screen, I've put everybody in order from the most likely to win to the least likely to win the game. After breaking down the cast originally, I really thought that a guy was going to win this season, but after this statistical breakdown, it turns out that I believe Sydney will win the game, and actually, I believe that she has by far the highest chance to do so. In fact, another girl, Sarah, has the second highest chance to win the game, with Danny Big Play McCray following behind her. And a lot of people have predicted that Ricardo will win the game, but I only have him as the seventh highest chance of winning, and I actually have him tied for the highest percent chance of making the merge. But the downfall for him in my eyes was that players of his prototype have a much lower chance of getting from the merge to the finals. And then, as you can see, I believe Jeannie and Heather have virtually zero chance of winning this game, along with quite a few other contestants. Now, putting everything together, you can see everybody's chances of making it to the swap, of making it to the merge, making it to the final three tribal council, and ultimately their chances of winning the 41st season of Survivor. So there you have it, a statistical breakdown of who will win Survivor 41. So my winner pick is Sydney, definitely all the way. Drop a comment below and let me know who your winner prediction is. And until next time, peace out.